Hello and welcome to today's Daily Rift. I'm Stormo, as usual, and first thing you'll notice is that I've dropped the difficulty level back down. I wasn't super happy with how fast I went through the Rift yesterday, and I've decided to go back down to difficulty level. So we probably stay on expert difficulty all the way through to level 70 now, just because it's faster to clear the rifts, and I just didn't feel it was quite as efficient yesterday. So that's the sort of main reason for it. You might notice I sound a little bit funny. I'm still sort of working my way through this horrible cold I've got at the moment. And I think today it's affecting my voice a little bit more than it was yesterday. But we'll see how it goes. We'll muddle through. So, yeah, I didn't feel I was quite making progress how I wanted to yesterday. So hopefully, I might try again at a later stage, but for the moment we're going to stick with expert difficulty. So yeah, and it does slow down the leveling experience a little bit, unfortunately, but that's sort of the cost of being less efficient, I suppose. Although, to be honest, I feel that this is more efficient for the moment, anyway. So, anyway, in unrelated news, I was reading this morning that the StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void beta is coming soon. There's been some really interesting changes. The one that amuses me the most, and I'm probably going to have to explain a little bit of StarCraft 2 for those of you who aren't familiar with it. The one that amuses me the most with the beta is that they're changing the real-time clock in the game to always represent real-time. Now, if you don't know StarCraft 2 very well, you probably don't know that online matches, or StarCraft 2 Pro matches, always take place at the game's highest speed. In fact, all multiplayer takes place at the game's highest speed. But the game's highest speed is not actually what the game counts as real-time. Real-time is actually half as fast as the highest possible speed, and the in-game timer plays back at real-time. So if you're running the game at twice real-time, the timer runs at twice normal speed, which means that when you're watching your StarCraft 2 matches, you'll see games that go for like 40 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, but they've only actually gone for like half that because, of course, the timer is counting at double speed. The problem with this, of course, is the fact that every StarCraft 2 online game of any note whatsoever takes place at the fastest speed, which means that having the timer run at twice normal speed is basically irrelevant. So the change basically means that the game speed won't change, but the actual timer will change to just recording the game in real time, no matter what speed you're playing at. This is pretty much a good thing, I think, because it means that game time can be much more accurately calculated using the in-game timer, at least. It's not the most accurate. I mean, it only goes as far as seconds, but it's a bit handier, I guess, especially for people who do StarCraft 2 commentary, where they're watching the game and they can refer to a game being 20 minutes long as actually being a game that's 20 minutes long. So I think this is ultimately a good idea. It seems like a really small change, but the importance of game length in StarCraft 2 can't be underestimated. And there's a couple other interesting changes in StarCraft 2 if you're not familiar. Or if you haven't been keeping up with the announcements for Legacy of Void. Apparently, one of the other ones I've been reading is that they're adjusting the AI, not the AI opponents, but the AI that controls your units. Like, you command your units, but there's still a sort of AI factor to what they target and how they react to your commands. And they're making some adjustments to that, primarily to supposedly change the way targeting priority works, particularly for ground units, so that they will target air units and various other things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes as well. And of course, the more well-known changes, like the increase in starting units up to 12 starting worker units, so like probes or SCVs or drones. Which will be interesting to watch, actually, because what it basically means is it speeds up the very start of the game, because when you start a game in StarCraft 2, of course, the only thing you can really do is make workers until you've got enough resources to start building units. And there's usually a period of maybe a minute or two at the start of the game where you can't really do much other than workers. Like, You can do a couple of things, like if you want to move a probe or an SCV off the line to just quickly scout your opponent, or if you're going to do some kind of proxy dodginess or something like that, you can do that kind of stuff early on. But for the most part, you'll just build workers, and then once you cross a certain threshold of workers, which is usually 12 or 15 in the current game, once you cross a certain threshold of workers, you'll obviously, have to build a supply depot and then go to build a barracks or a second command center or base or whatever you do as your opening strategy. And this change basically means that you can get to that point sooner, which speeds up the start of the game a little bit and makes it more interesting, I suppose, because it just... often when you watch StarCraft 2 games being played, they don't show the first minute or so of the game because it really just isn't very interesting, and for most players it'll be exactly the same until that point where they decide to drag a worker off the line to build a supply depot or to start doing something else. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the metagame, and the whole point of the beta, which starts in about 2 weeks, is that it will do that. Now, because I am absolutely terrible at StarCraft 2, I've decided to try and make Legacy of the Void my entry point back into the series, so I will be getting it, and I will be attempting to play through it, probably through the campaign initially. And I may or may not make videos of that, just depending on how comfortable I am with showing everyone how terrible I am at StarCraft 2. I try to be good at it, but yeah, I've done a few practice games recently and it's not gone well. I cannot beat easy AI in StarCraft 2. So I kind of feel like Diablo 3 is my Blizzard game, even though World of Warcraft was for a very long time. Still very occasionally play that, but yeah, StarCraft 2 is sort of the main thing I'm doing at the moment. Well, actually, the main thing I'm doing at the moment is City Skylines, which I promise I will put together a video on at some point, either today or tomorrow. Just depending on what chances I get to record stuff. I am hoping to record another video after this one today. And that'll be for something else. So that should go up tomorrow as well, once this is done. So working our way through this rift. It's a bit slow today. So even with the lower difficulty, I'm still sort of being a bit slow, aren't I? So, but we're not dying, which is good. But I just felt yesterday I was so stuck with what I was doing that it just wasn't worth the effort to stay on that difficulty level for the moment. And it's one of those things, difficulty really is a compromise between your capability of clearing a rift and the speed at which you clear the rift, because if it's possible for you to clear a lower difficulty rift faster than a higher difficulty rift, it may end up making up for the difference in experience you might otherwise get for clearing the higher difficulty rift. So you sort of have to take that into account, and I don't feel that I made up for that difference yesterday. I don't know why I tried to go back down there when it was a dead end. Probably because I can't actually see the minimap, because I have a reflection on my monitor right where it is right now. So. But that's okay, I don't need the minimap because this is all randomly generated, so it's not like I need to remember where I'm going. Just push forward down the paths, really. I don't think we've seen this particular map in these videos for either a long time, if we have at all. Of course, being the Chaldean Sewers area. And it's not one I come across very often. I often get it as a single linear sort of passageway, which this version I've got now doesn't appear to be. Oh, wow, this is a lot. Back out here and try and get those sentries happening. Ah. Sentry placement's always really important, especially when using, not Spitfire turret, when you're using Polar Station, because of the slowing radius. It can be really helpful in scenarios like this, so I can block that whole corridor off so everything has to go through that. Get out of that. Keep working our way through. Still only on the 3 monsters. We're going to hit level 59 very shortly. But possibly once we kill this enemy. There we go. So that's level 59 for us, which is good. Don't know what that's unlocked. Fan of Knives, Assassin's Knives, and I think that's about it, actually. Oh, Vanishing Powder Smoke Screen, yeah. Nether Tentacles, which used to be really good before they nerfed the crap out of it. Back when it was actually slightly bugged and did like double damage to everything. Ah, Wolf Companion, that's the thing we've unlocked. That's actually a rune I'm going to switch to just as soon as I clear that guy out. So I am going to change to using Wolf Companion for that, because Wolf Companion is the best companion. So there we go. So we now have our Wolf. He does more damage, and his active is much better. The Howl increases your damage output. So there you go. So we got that one out of the way, and he's basically the best pet, which is why pretty much every demon hunter you see that uses companion runs with Wolf Companion. Assuming they don't have 6-piece more, or sorry, 2-piece more orders, which gives you all of the companions out once. Which is hilarious when you see it, actually. Ooh, channeling pylon. That can make the rest of this dungeon really interesting, because it means I have no cooldowns and no resource costs, so I can just spam, and everything will die really quickly. That should get us through, hopefully, the Rift Guardian pretty quickly, which is good. So level 59. So we're almost level 60, almost at the old level cap, not the new one. So that consumed, yep, looks like that pylon's run out now, so be a bit more careful. We're not far from the end of this rift, so just get these guys out of the way. Definitely prefer Demon Hunter to Monk. Having been experimenting with Monk lately, and putting up with the fact that you die so much as a Monk, because you're always in melee range of attacks, and even using you know, health potions and healing skills and serenity, which gives you invulnerability, and you know, even playing defensively and all that kind of stuff, you'll still cop it pretty severely, and there's still situations where you basically just die because you can't avoid it. And while that certainly does happen as a Demon Hunter as well, not having that constant melee damage input coming at you is much more, much better for your survivability. I mean, you still have to put up with, you know, ranged attacks and stuff like that, so it's not perfect, but you just have less incoming damage all the time, so you're more likely to survive scenarios that would otherwise kill, say, a melee character like Monk. So, especially a character like Stone Singer here, who, for our melee class, is a right pain to deal with because of the way he splits into multiple copies of himself as you reduce his health. He's about to start doing it. There we go, there's the first split. They have less health, I think. I think, actually, no, it's a shared health pool for him. But yeah, and you get more of them, and they even if they're weaker, they still do the exact same amount of damage, even if they have less health. So, as a monk, you end up with like 4 of these guys beating on you, and the damage input as you reduce his health is quite nasty, but we don't have to worry about that as a Demon Hunter, as long as we can keep vaulting away when he gets near. It'd be nice to put up another turret, wouldn't it? That'd be good. There we go. So as long as I can keep doing that and backing away, and just kiting him back here, I can get rid of they will die, he dies, so the main one. So yeah, the damage input is just a little bit different. So let's see what we picked up. Got a legendary blacksmith plan for a Deadeye, which I think is a crossbow. Speaking of crossbows, that's a big upgrade. So we're going to swap that in. I don't think I got anything else. Oh, that's an even bigger upgrade. So I will swap that in. That's maybe an upgrade. Companion damage. No, it's not an upgrade. That quiver is a huge upgrade. I haven't had a quiver for a while, so we'll go for that. Yeah, no. Is that an upgrade? It's close enough that it probably is. Because the Iron Toe Mud Spitters aren't a great legendary. That would be an upgrade if I was level 60, which I'm not, so I'll hang on to that. Oh, okay, every weapon I've picked up so far is an upgrade. So we'll switch to that weapon now. So all of the upgrades, which is really cool. Is that ring an upgrade for anything? It's an upgrade for my puzzle ring, probably, yes. So, some nice upgrades there. We're about to hit level 60, which will fairly seriously dramatically change everything we can get. Anyway, that's been today's Rift. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.